Master the art of pleasure, what every man needs to know. Welcome back to my channel where we can have adult conversations about intimate topics without censorship. I'm KGB, your intimacy coach, and today I'm diving deep into the art of female pleasure, specifically focusing on manual stimulation techniques and the critical mistakes that most men make. I'm sorry, gentlemen, but you do. If you're coming from my TikTok, you'll notice I can be much more direct here. And if you're new, please subscribe for honest educational content about intimacy and relationships. And heads up, I don't edit, so all my mistakes are in here because no one's perfect. Let's start with some anatomy basics because understanding is the foundation of pleasure. So the clitoris, which I have to call the clitosaurus over TikTok, isn't just a little visible button. It's actually the complex structure with over 8,000 nerve endings. That's more than twice the number in the penis, concentrated in a much smaller area. This is why direct, intense stimulation too early can be overwhelming or just really uncomfortable. What you can see externally is just the tip. The rest extends internally in like a wishbone shape around the vaginal opening. But this means you can stimulate it from multiple angles and approaches. Understanding this structure explains why different women enjoy different types of touch. Some prefer direct stimulation, others like indirect. Some enjoy pressure on the surrounding area, activating, the internal structure. But the art is in the build-up. The biggest mistake men make is rushing straight to direct stimulation. Think of her pleasure as a journey, not a destination. Start with gentle touches, nowhere near the genital area. The inner thighs, lower abdomen, the pubic mound, they're all erogenous zones that help build anticipation. Use light teasing touches, almost tickling, to begin awakening her body's response. And as you move closer to more intimate areas, maintain this gentleness. Trace your fingers along the outer labia, the outer lips, occasionally brushing near but not directly on the clitoris. This indirect stimulation builds blood flow and natural lubrication while creating the anticipation that makes direct touch much more pleasurable when it finally happens. So here's some touch techniques. Let's break down 3 specific techniques that really create different sensations. Circular motion using 1 or 2 fingers. Gently make circles around the clitoris, not directly on it, not initially anyway. You can vary the size of these circles, some including the clitoris, accidentally, sometimes circling around it. The key is to start with really light pressure and gradually increase based on her response. Then you can start the stroke. So using your index or middle finger, create a flat surface and stroke up and down and side to side. Again, starting with really gentle pressure and gradually increasing. This technique works well with plenty of lubrication. Then you've got the cup. So place your entire palm over the vulva with your fingers pointing either downward if you're actually standing up or upways if you're lying down, depending on your position. But apply gentle pressure and make circular motions with your entire hand. This stimulates not just the external clitoris, but the entire structure, including the internal parts. Now, if you know all those movements, let me tell you the mistake that ruins pleasure more than anything else. Changing a winning technique at the crucial moment. When you find a rhythm, a pressure, a motion that's working, evidenced by her breathing, her sounds, her movements, her verbal cues, her physical non-verbal cues, it's not the time to switch up the techniques or speed up dramatically. Women need consistent stimulation to reach climax. I've heard from countless women who are right there on the edge when suddenly their partner changed what they were doing. All of a sudden they thought they were in a DJ booth or they were a freaking jackhammer. And you have to start all over again. It's frustrating and it can make it difficult to reach orgasm at all. Think of it like a dimmer switch that gradually is being turned on, not a regular switch where you have to flip it on and flip it off. Consistent stimulation allows pleasure to build in waves until it crests. Let's address a common misconception. A woman's natural lubrication is not always an accurate indicator of her arousal level either. So many factors affect lubrication. Her hormones, the medication, stress, is she hydrated? Where is she in her cycle in particular? Using lubricant isn't an admission of failure. It's not a tool to bruise your ego. It's for pleasure, to stop discomfort and friction. It's often the difference between good and extraordinary sensations. Always have it available and normalize it without making a big deal about it. The ultimate key to being a great lover is communication. So this doesn't mean constantly asking, is this good? Which you can actually take her out of the moment if you keep on asking for validation. Instead, pay attention to the physical responses and create an environment where she feels safe, giving you guidance. And occasionally ask specific questions like, do you want more pressure? Less? Show appreciation when she communicates her preferences. Remember that feedback is not criticism, gentlemen. It's a roadmap to giving her more pleasure, which is the ultimate goal. So becoming skilled at manual stimulation takes practice, it takes attention and communication. And every woman is different. So techniques that work for one partner might need adjustment for another. So what are the key takeaways? Build anticipation with teasing and indirect touch. Use varied techniques to discover what she responds to. Maintain consistency. Once you find what works, don't be afraid to use lubrication. And communicate and pay attention to feedback. Look, in my next video, I'm going to be covering oral techniques with the same level of detail. If you found this helpful, then please like and subscribe and let me know in the comments what intimate topics you'd like me to cover. I can't get away with as much detail on TikTok, I get in trouble. But the main thing is to remember that great lovers aren't born, they're made through education, practice and communication, and that's what I bring you. I'm KGB. See you in the next video.